Sick.
So this is the Combat Station. I'm your host, Ty Matthews, and today we have a special guest on, George Hardwick. He's going to be fighting for the Cage Warriors lightweight title in the coming month. Anyway, mate, how you doing?
I'm doing very well. Loads of good sessions this week. Just the usual stuff, drinking loads of green tea and playing it Quake on the Nintendo Switch.
Fair enough, mate. How's training camp going?
Oh, it's going very well. Going very well. Getting a lot of wrestling defense in, because that just seems to be Kyle's game. Diving on takedowns. I'm ready for that. Been training with the Slam Man, being used to Afghan wrestling. So I don't care about Division 1 or whatever he is.
Now, mate, obviously the title fight is coming up. Were booked for one recently. Your opponent pulled out and you had a fight in the meantime. Going into this, how are you feeling? How are you feeling about your opponent? Do you believe he is hardest opponent you fought in your career so far?
Yeah, definitely. So, funny, the title picture before, when I was matched up to face Mehdi, and then he got COVID on the day. The people in the picture it was like Mehdi, Joe was floating around, he left, maybe he's coming back. And then Figlak was in the picture. I got that matched up with Bellardo, the Italian lad, before he got into a spot of bother. And then so I took that fight with Capera because I need to be active. I'm not one of these who just will wait for an opportunity, because you'll wait your life away. So need to be active and fight him. Got this name, Kyle Driscoll, which I really wasn't expecting, but it's really good to be part of this first international title fight between continents and Cage Warriors. I don't think they've done it before. And yeah, he's record-wise a harder opponent, but it's not a scary style. The way he wrestles and drive homes, it's not as scary. It's just find that spot to do damage.
Now, this is an America versus UK matchup, as you said, international. Do you believe you're going to get your own Wilder Fury moment in there? Maybe a knockout?
I've heard about them, but I haven't really watched those fights. I'm just going to, again, fighting another international opponent. I'm going to wear him out, break him down, stop him, and then ramble about Palmos, because I'm just spreading the word of Palmos with every fight.
What do you want after this fight? Is there any plans? Do you plan to stick with Cage Warriors, defend your belt? Maybe do you want to fight Mehdi? What do you want?
It depends on what opportunities come up, because I can't think 2 days into the future, let alone however many months. The one thing I will say is that whatever opportunities come up, if Joe McColgan wants to fight for a belt, I'll honour a fight with Joe McColgan, whatever opportunities come up, because he vacated it in the first place to allow people to step in to fight for the belt. I know with cancellations, it hasn't worked out that way, but whatever the situation, I'd fight Joe McColgan, even if I got offered from UFC, whoever. If he wanted to fight, I'd honour that, because he stepped away to allow us to step in to fight.
Do you believe maybe Dana White Contender Series could be in your future if you get the win here?
Possibly. Like I said, I can't think 2 days into the future, let alone 3 months. But there's more and more UK events going on. So, it's all about timing, what happens at that time, who slots in where.
Do you maybe want to go to America after this fight, as Cage Warriors are putting on a lot of shows there? Do you want to be the first UK fight to headline a show in America from Cage Warriors?
Yeah, that's always been, even from starting an MMA competition as a pro, that's always been a bit of a bucket list thing, fighting in America. Fighting in America and fighting in Asia have always been bucket list things, because of obviously how prolific it's been in those, countries, continents, whatever.
Now, you said you want to fight in Asia and USA. Now, if you did get to fight, what would be one of your dream fights? Is there any fighter from the past that you would have loved to experience fighting, or even currently?
Well, if it's current, you're always in the mind of preparing for the best fighter in the world, which is, in this weight class, Charles Oliveira. So it's you're always in that mind. You want to see, I'm not trying to just get a few wins and then jump off into some side hustle business off it. I want to fight. I'm a martial artist. So, there's people with a mysticism about them. like Makachev and what have you. It's what you want to see is you want to see what that stuff's like for real. So any opponent like that, like working up as the years go on.
Now you're on quite a win streak, 5 fights, I believe. What did you learn from your one career loss, and how has that improved you as a fighter?
A few things. So breathing was a big one. Making that conscious connection in the fight to just take a second. Okay, breathe. It's just a part of every fight now. It's just the breathing control is like much better. It's game planning and all, and it's just a constant source of fire. It's like whenever I'm having a tired day, I can just look back on it and think, okay, I need to work.
What, as well, your last fight, obviously you finished your opponent in round 2, you TKO'd him. What have you took from that fight? Have you took any positives? Did you take any negative from your game? What did you learn from your last fight?
Was a bit heavy on the feet. Like, I know it's a little bit of a smaller cage when it's in the Indigo, but it was a bit heavy on the feet. It was a bit slow with the trigger to hit some of the knees in the first round. I know I wanted to wear him out, so I didn't want to give up takedowns going for too much, but yeah, just being a bit faster on the trigger in some places, being a bit more diverse in others. But if the left hook's there, I keep throwing it.
Fair enough, mate. What does this cage warriors belt mean to you, and what does it mean to your career? Yeah.
Well, I don't know. I can't really take myself outside of myself and think what stuff means, really. I just like the moment-to-moment processes. Obviously, there's a lineage there with the lightweight belt and the Cage Warriors belt in general. It's like my coach, Abdul Muhammad, he won it in 2004 at welterweight. So there's kind of I don't know what you want to call it, some lineage symbolism or whatever, following on in his footsteps.
And, mate, coming up, there is Oliveira versus Gaethje. But after that, Islam Makhachev's going to fight for the belt. Who do you believe will be lightweight champion in the UFC by the end of the year?
I'm not a great fight predictor. I really love Oliveira. He's and I'd be happy if he beat both of them. But yeah, I'm going to go Oliveira. But now I've said that, he'll get chinned this weekend and I'll look like an idiot.
Hopefully not, mate. I've got Oliveira as well. Coming up in there's a UFC London card coming up. And obviously Tom Aspinall versus Curtis Blades has been booked for that card, and Darren Till. Now, first of all, would you like to one day fight in a UFC London card? And who do you have in them 2 fights?
Well, obviously have Aspinall and Till in them fights. Yeah, obviously, I'd love to fight in the UFC London card.
And before your career is done, one more thing. Where do you see yourself by the end of it?
I don't know. I don't look that far into the future. I really just love the moment-to-moment processes of fighting. And I want to be, like I've said before, active as possible. I don't want to look back and think, I shouldn't have sat on the sidelines there. I want to fight really actively. You only get so long to compete, and I want to compete as much as possible.
And finally, knockout or submission, decision, how are you going to beat your opponent? This coming up.
I'll play him at his own game. I'll just kind of wrestle him and hold on to his legs for 5 rounds and just squeeze and not do that much.
Oh, mate. Hopefully you don't, because obviously you're an entertaining fighter. But it's been a pleasure having you on here. Obviously, I don't want to hold you up too long. But thank you for your time, mate.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
Mate, hopefully you get the finish, and hopefully we get you back on here soon with a belt, maybe.
Yeah, been too long.
Anyway, this has been the Combat Station. This is George Hardwick, and we are out.
Doodle pip.